thoughts, questions? Okay. Just an update on the solar energy performance contract. We are going to await further collaboration to include the town, and I think most of you have heard the story by now. But this sets us back a bit. We need to have the town on board. At least Mr. DeMore and I attended a meeting with the town code enforcement officer, and that was kind of our determination. There's more work to do. Because we're deciding to go to the voters to support this solar project, it could be put off, you know, but I don't know if that's indefinitely or just for a period of time, but we definitely want to work with the zoning ordinances and the moratorium that's in place at this point in time. And a reminder about our mergers, in case you have any questions about them. We are merging with other schools in our athletics and ski, swim, wrestling, winter guard, lacrosse. And lacrosse includes Wheelerville. So you'll be seeing a request and recommendation from me to adjust the agreement we have, which is just between Fonda and Johnstown, to include Wheelerville as well. That's a good thing for us.
I'm familiar with the winter guard.
It's not really a sport.
Well, what? No, I mean what?
Fonda.
Fonda.
We typically work with Fonda.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much we do, but it's just kind of standing.
No.
Yeah. The budget development, you know, I showed you the capital component, what we have right now, but the budget draft complete is essentially there. But we need to work with this quite a bit. I think you'll see some numbers changing, especially where the budget to budget increase is concerned, which I just kind of told you about. You know, there have to be compelling reasons why you're going to raise the budget above those goals of keeping it within a certain range. And certainly compelling reasons why you ask the voters for anything above the maximum taxable allowable tax amount. Can you see this report? Oh, you can, good.
Well, it was provided in the...
I just uploaded it, but I wasn't sure you could see it.
Yeah, it's there.
Oh, that's excellent, good. So you will see there that the Wheelerville Union Free School District has asked if they could extend their contract. I think this is a really good thing for our school and certainly good for Wheelerville, I hope they feel. There was a time when they were thinking of pulling their students from Johnstown, and they have asked for an extension of the contract. There's a little bit of legal quandary we have. I'm looking for a second opinion of the recent guidance I have, which governs what we charge for tuition. And this all just came up today, so we're not really prepared. But apparently you can't have a contract for between 2 and 5 years. You can only have one for 1 year and one for 6 years or more. None of that makes sense to me because we've always had a contract for 4 years or 5 years. So I just have a little more work to do on that. But this was the proposed increase, which aligns with our faculty staff increases typically. But I'll have more information on it, and we're not going to move on that anyway. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Item number 3, the program component of the budget. Once we start talking about that, we've already kind of opened this discussion last evening at the personnel committee level, and we did talk a little bit about the Dean of Students memorandum of agreement. Continuing, we talked a little bit about vacancy searches, and we even delved a little bit in some of the moves that the administration plans to make within the school, which is in their purview to make. But I think some good conversation will develop, you know, based on those things, and we'll keep the personnel committee abreast of those. We're not looking at any cuts and things like we did last year when we had the federal monies. We're not looking at that scenario. We are just looking at maybe the addition of a business teacher and the continuation of some programs and staff we already have in place. Let's see, governor's action and communication. We continue to watch for the governor's position on education. She has said a lot. We've read a lot from the Rural Schools Association to the New York State Superintendents Association. They're all sort of posturing, and the governor has given us just enough information to keep us thinking about what might come out in terms of her run of the budget. The solar project, if you're reading this, you have a lot of information there. I don't think it's all relevant, but this is just my copy of an email that I was talking with Chris Honeywell about, which we need to talk about in detail in some detail, but I think this is public information. So back to the solar project just for a second. If you don't understand quite about the moratorium and maybe the ordinance laws that we now feel we need to get in line with, I think this letter explains from our attorney the reasons that he is in support of the school just moving forward. Dave and I think we don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's really important in small communities to get our municipalities on board. And so you'll see in this letter, this email, support for the district just to try ahead. But that's not necessarily what we probably should do to form a relationship with the district. And I think other than that, I think that's all I need to add. Then if the board wishes, we can talk about, there's a real estate matter in executive session.
Okay. I'm just reading a little bit of the excerpt here from.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely on the side of the district from our council.
Yeah. I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We do not have any employee leadership reports. I do not have any board report. We do have a few committee reports. We have operations and planning. This report is rather long. There was a rather extensive discussion about a range of topics. We started off with an overview of the EPC, $3 million EPC, which is intended to be completed in the fall and winter of 2025. So this is later this year, September through December timeframe. So a lot of the meat of the project is completed, but there are a number of things that are still to be done with regards to district-wide LED lighting conversion and weatherization projects throughout the district, mechanical insulation, freezer cooler controls, plug load controls, district office HVAC units, high school multi-zone HVAC units, and district-wide building HVAC controls. Also discussed a medium capital project of $15 million. Current project has all prime contractors mobilized to the site. The general contractor has completed the demolition of the seating, carpet, base, and selective slab trenching in the large group construction room. The general contractor has completed the temporary removals of the ceiling in the rooms adjacent to the LGI. The mechanical contractor is mobilized at Pleasant Ave and has begun installing new piping in the crawl space in preparation for the steam to hot water conversion. Small project 2, that's a $5 million project. The project is at SED, currently waiting for the review and approval process. This afternoon, as of the time of this report, which was earlier this week, we were notified that the kitchen scope for both elementaries, Knox scoreboard, and basketball court fencing have received architectural and engineering approval. They're awaiting fiscal approval and moving forward with the bidding process. Kitchen scope of work was broken into a separate package for SED review and approval. High school gender neutral bathrooms, as a reminder from the August 28th email sent to our committee. The bathrooms constitute changing the current athletic offices, both students, large group bathrooms, and 2 commandeered staff bathrooms. On the first floor, a well-designed series of individual bathroom stalls. The design drawings reflected New York State rule for 50% of all bathrooms that are also single stall bathrooms to be handicap accessible, and each individual stall needs to have both the sink and the toilet. So the design drawings allow for all of that we wanted to accomplish, which includes good sight lines from the office, required fire doors, fixture numbers that meet the code requirements, and the gender neutral spaces, privacy and dignity that started the conversation in the first place. To be clear, these are full height partitions, full thickness partitions, full height doors. This is not a situation where typical bathroom partitions are being implemented in this case. So privacy is intended to be a component of this. And as a result, we will move 2 staff bathrooms to the center of the building, essentially taking over 2 small students, group bathrooms for faculty and staff. It's intended that the Jenner Mitchell bathroom scope will be submitted at the beginning of November 2024. Knox ornamental fencing is being completed through the funding of this project. Still waiting for some things to clear in the way of weather so that we can resume work on that. Capital outlay project for the 2024-25 school year. We approved the bid award to Murnane at the December board meeting. Finalizing the agreement. The project addresses the classroom window wells and grout injection on the first floor of the Knox Middle School. The project is one that is completed by June of 2025 and submitted to SED for full aid in the 25-26 school year. And Tetra Tech in turn will coordinate Murnane's work on this project with the median project to ensure they are working efficiently. We are also looking at another EPC project. This is the solar project Dr. Crankshaw mentioned. As indicated, we kind of hit something of a road bump with regard to our process due to some recent awareness on some case law that may impact the town's jurisdiction over our project. Dr. Crankshaw and I have concluded that it's not in our best interest to just go it alone, at least not with the information that we have at the moment. And we do think that it is in the best interest of our community for us to be participants and common shareholders in this process. And I do think that there is a pathway forward, and we'll be exploring those pathways in the coming weeks with the town. Some new business, we reviewed the building condition survey summary of 2025, 2025 summary. It was very high level overview summary sheet, but currently priority 1 items are estimated to be $44 million, So there's been a lot of work up to this point to sift through that. We are going to set up a time for the operations and planning committee to really kind of have one shot to get into the nitty-gritty detail of that document and just sort of explore exactly what is being viewed and what we might be looking at down the road. And this will feed into a larger project that will start planning now through the referendum in the fall of 2026 with construction in the summer of 2028. So more to come on that. And just as a reminder, these projects, you know, they seem large. There's millions of dollars worth of activity going on, but it is structured to be a part of our district financial plan to have the debt load that comes along with these projects over years of time. With the reminder that with each debt payment, there's also the expectation that there is, you know, the following year, you know, payments from the state ed for the state to help fund these projects. And we are planning these if there's no additional tax burden on our local taxpayers to be able to do these important upgrades to our facility. So then next, we also had the Audit Budget Finance Committee meeting last evening. This was a little quicker. We did review the program component again very quickly, then moved on to the capital component review, which Dr. Crankshaw shared with everyone this evening. Very brief discussion about the opening of some negotiations with the JDA. And our next meeting will be Wednesday, February 5th at 6:30 p.m. and we will be reviewing the program component of the budget. So with that, I would pass it to personnel. I think you, Jim.
Yep, last night we met, personnel committee, we met, we selected 3 ABCP award winners to be recognized at our February meeting. We discussed the opening of JTA negotiations, and we agreed upon dates and times for those meetings. Our current JTA contract contract agreement is through June 30, 26. However, we mutually agreed to open negotiations early to arrive at a successor agreement now instead of waiting. We're also looking to connect with the Tri-County Substitute Teachers Union so we can open negotiations in order to negotiate a new agreement by the end of this year. We discussed a little bit about program and staffing changes that are under discussion among the admin team. And our next meeting is Wednesday, April 16th at 6:30.
Thank you very much. So we do have a little bit of correspondence that we received since last month. We received a card from the JHS Apple program. It says, "Dear Board of Education, thank you for providing the funding of the bus for the We the People competition. We are more than thankful to have had the opportunity to be able to compete against other schools. It was a great experience. Your contribution has made it possible for us to have an exciting journey. Once again, thank you for your support." It is signed by the students of the class, and because I cannot read everybody's handwriting, I am going to forego trying to read their names. And then we also received a New Year's wish card from CT Mail Associates, and it's just a Happy New Year card. Then we have some consent agenda. In an effort to expedite the business of the Board of Education, but in no way meant to diminish the importance of each item, consent agenda may be used for the items in this section. Items may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any one board member. Items not removed will be adopted by general consent without debate. Any removed items may be taken up either immediately after the consent agenda or placed later on the agenda at the discretion of the board. So consent agenda includes action personnel, which would be 7A of our agenda, leaves of absence, resignations, creations, adjustments, and appointments. It would include consent action business, which includes the approval of December 19, 2024 meeting minutes. It includes approved January 13, 2025 meeting minutes. It includes the acceptance of warrants in November 2024 and accepting the treasurer's report from November 2024. Also includes consent action CSE, CPSE 504 committee placements, which is 9A, and approval of the CSE, CPSE 504 committee minutes. Does anybody wish to remove any item from the consent agenda? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the items listed in the sections of the agenda? Title: Consent Action Business, Consent Action Personnel, and Consent Action CSE, CPSE 504 committee minutes. Joelle? Mark? Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous? Thank you. Okay, next we have action items, business. This is the appointment of board of registration and designation of date, hours, and place of registration. So I'd ask for a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent to appoint Jacqueline Darren, Republican of Johnstown, New York, and Sally Ostrander, Democrat of Johnstown, New York, to the board of registration for a one-year term as of January 16, 2025. And that board of registration meetings shall be held at the district office conference room from the hours of 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. May 6, 2025, or as otherwise needed, and that the flat rate of pay for each member shall be $15.50 per hour, for a total of $62 for each meeting consisting of 4 hours. So, can I get a motion? Leslie? Second, Will? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. We are unanimous. Thank you very much. Next, we have the authorization of district clerk to publish election notices for the May 20th, 2025 annual meeting. Looking for a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent to authorize the district clerk to publish notice of voter registration, prepare registers, and to provide for public notification of the annual meeting and election of the Greater Johnstown School District to be held on May 20th, 2025 for the the election of 2 members of the Board of Education to serve 3-year terms beginning July 1st, 2025, for the offices now held by Marjorie Klein and William J. Stock. The draft legal notices have been included in your agenda, so I look for a motion. Soel, Leslie, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, we are unanimous, thank you. Next item, we have action items personnel. This is for the retirement of Ronald Savoy, technology teacher. I'm looking for a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent to accept the resignation for purposes of retirement of Ronald Savoy, technology teacher, effective end of day June 30th, 2025. Beth? Second, Jen? Any discussion? Leslie?
No.
Okay.
I've been reading a few days ago.
Okay, hearing no discussion, any further comments or questions? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, congratulations, Mr. Savoy. I'm sure you will be missed. And then we have the retirement of Dr. William Crankshaw, Superintendent of Schools. Looking for a motion to accept the recommendation, to accept the resignation for purpose of retirement of William Crankshaw, Superintendent of Schools, effective end of day, August 9th, 2025. I have a motion. I think everybody's hands have been purposefully pinned down. What am I to do? Motion made by Marge, can I get a second? Second by Will. Any discussion? So I'll add something, since you're here. I think it goes without saying, this board and this school district community is going to miss you. And I think you will have provided an esteemed legacy that would be very difficult to live up to. I hope you'll come back to visit.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Okay.
That's very nice.
So we have a vote, or excuse me, we have a motion, we have a second, and no further discussion. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Regretfully, that's it. Congratulations.
It's not my recommendation.
Okay. Next up, board discussion. Now, one of the things that we were hopeful to do is determine, we were hopeful that Dr. Ziskin would be able to join us this evening to give us.
There's another item. We got Kimberly.
Good. 2 items.
How did I miss that? Oh, I'm sorry. Jeez Louise. Rushing through things. Okay, yep, my bad. All right, so this is for the probationary appointment of Kimberly Sherman, teaching assistant. I'm looking for a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent to approve the probationary appointment of Kimberly Sherman as teaching assistant in the teaching assistant tenure area effective January 21st, 2025 for a 4-year term tentatively scheduled to conclude on January 20th, 2029, contingent upon successful completion of the probationary term at $16.50 per hour, 7.5 hours per day, pursuant to the contractual agreement between the Johnstown Teachers Association and the Greater Johnstown School District. The fingerprint review has been completed and received the clearance certificate by the Commissioner of Education is on file. Can I have a motion to accept? Leslie? Second, Marge. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. We are approved. Second is, or last in this action items personnel section. This is the appointment of district superintendent of schools as search consultant. So I'm looking for, actually, be it hereby resolved to appoint Dr. David Ziskin, district superintendent of schools for the Hamilton, Fulton, Montgomery Sole Supervisory District to serve as consultant in the search for the superintendent of schools at the Greater Johnstown School District. And I get a motion to accept that resolution. Beth, second. Will? Any discussion? Okay. All right, well, let's finish the vote here. All those in favor, please Raise your hand. Thank you. We are unanimous. Okay, now on the board discussion. So it was our hope that Dr. Ziskin could be here to give us something of an outline of the plan moving forward. We did have an opportunity to discuss in a little bit more detail what the search is shaping up to be. Unfortunately, Dr. Ziskin had a conflict with the front end of our meeting, and because our agenda shrank due to the circumstances of the EPC situation and our inability to move forward with that, we're finding ourselves near the end of this meeting. So I think what we'll end up doing is having Dr. Ziskin provide some sort of an email communication that will be forwarded to the district community that will outline search structure and the methods in which the community can provide input on our next search. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and hopefully we'll get that email out here the next, maybe tomorrow or front end of next week. Okay, next up we have upcoming meetings and events. Public content, January 23rd, we have the Knox Winter Concert at 7 p.m. at the Knox Auditorium. January 27th, we have the special meeting and board retreat at 5 p.m. at the district office. February 5th, we have the academic and extracurricular committee at 5:30 p.m. at the district office. Again, on February 5th, we have the Audit Budget and Finance Committee at 6:30 at the district office. February 13th will be the business meeting at 6 p.m. I think in this room again. Okay, maybe in the middle of the meeting. Okay, so did you say we had a reason to go into executive?
I could just give you updated information about just the legal real estate.
Okay. So, I guess that's kind of the end of the agenda. You let him know that he doesn't need to come?
I will. I've just been asked. He hasn't responded.
So then, I guess what we would look to do is look for a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose, let me read this correctly, motion to enter into executive session at 6:40 p.m. to discuss the employment history of, the employment history of a particular person. That's not what you just said.
You're not supposed to find it fast.
Oh, there it is. Discussing the purchase, sale, or lease of a particular parcel of land. That's what we're talking about?
No, it's too further down, litigation, proposed pending litigation.
All right, everybody talked at once. I didn't hear anything.
You just,
Discussing, proposed pending or current litigation.
Oh, I see. Okay. So let's clear this up. Motion to enter into executive session at 6:40 p.m. to discuss the proposed pending or current litigation. All those in favor? We are unanimous. We are now in executive session. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we will see you next month.